rages like a tempest, her whisper is a breeze. But when she has a temper, it brings me to my knees. Her beauty is a terror, there's a storm inside her eyes. She dances like a hurricane and kills me when she cries. Oh, won't let go, no. I'm overboard and washed out to sea, drowning in your open arms with other fools like me. Treading water, shipwrecked and free. I could leave, but all I know is I'm in too deep. Deep, I'm in too deep.
No telling where I'm going, I got other ships to see. I'm freer than a swallow, the wind is home to me. My song will make you love me, that's why you danced aboard. But you knew exactly what I was when your feet first left the shore. Oh, won't let go. You're overboard and washed out to sea, drowning in my open arms, you'll never wanna breathe. Treading water, shipwrecked and free. You could leave, but all I know is you're in too deep. Deep, you're in too deep. Deep, you're in too deep.
I'm overboard and washed out to sea, drowning in your open arms with other fools like me. Treading water, shipwrecked and free. I could leave, but all I know
You won't
is
leave 'cause you keep falling.
overboard and washed out to sea, drowning in your open arms with other fools like me. Treading water, shipwrecked and free. I could leave, but all I know is I'm in too deep. Deep,
You're in too deep. You could be, but all I know is
I'm in too deep.
Welcome in, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Hi, Faye. Welcome in. Ooh, the music is kind of loud in my ears. Sure did. Turn that down. Yeah, Faye, how's it going? You can't fall asleep. So you're trying to sleep, person. Well, I hope you can get to sleep. Please don't stay if you actually do feel sleepy. But I appreciate you popping in and saying hi, and I hope that, I guess it's relaxing enough to put you to sleep. I know that feeling, but that sucks. That, you know, you want to sleep tired. Everybody's like, but like, what if we were just awake a little longer? It's like, but thank you for redeeming your daily cast, Faye. You caught an epic dragonfin, just worth 128 anchors. You have 557 total. Yay.
Maybe you should hear me out. Let them sow their seeds of doubt. But don't you wait for
Faye, you're so tired. Yeah. I do hope you can get to sleep.
prison lines.
It is a chill stream today, so
See you shine.
I guess it's always on the more chill side, but you know, very chill today. We're just doing some dev. I think I want to finish the design for the library today, or kind of like the initial design stuff and then actually get into coding it would be interesting. Actually, I think more for us I have to organize it and code it. But yeah, let me show you that. And this isn't messed up, right? Nope, looks fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we were working on a a terminal user interface library. Let me see. I think I have something in here. No, I don't.
They'd only try to keep you down. I know you could be so much more.
Okay, so I think I something here. Right, yeah, this is something that I'm gonna have to figure out. But basically, when you're writing, when you're making an app, you need some way for the user to actually interact with your app and make things happen. And so, one of those is a full interface like this, which is cool. It works. I have all these buttons that I can click on, and it's great. The problem is that these are a lot harder to make. They take a lot more effort and design, and you have to use a framework that exists usually, because the actual it's called the API, Application Programming Interface, I think, something like that. The way that you actually make graphics is incredibly complicated. So then you have to fall into one of these frameworks that already exists, and those can be kind of restrictive. Anyways, with all of that, the other option is for you to use a terminal, which is this lovely text interface. It's just text. But you can make some pretty interesting apps by moving text and writing specific lines of text and stuff. But managing that is, again, complicated. So, the goal with this library, which is, for those of you who don't know, a library in programming is just kind of like a tool. It's a set of code that someone else can grab and then use, and it does a specific set of things. And so the goal with the library is to make that easier by making it a little more similar to organizing something like HTML, but still giving you a lot of flexibility into what exactly you do. Now, that's complicated, and that's a lot of functionality to just want to make happen. So, what we started doing, I think, 2 streams ago, and what we're doing now again today, is instead of just jumping into actually making it, we're going to kind of try to figure out how we want it to actually behave. So, because I can write what's most convenient to write when I'm making it, I can be like, well, this is the easiest thing for me to make in the moment, but that doesn't mean it's the easiest thing to use. So we're gonna go the other way. We're gonna start with, well, how do I want to use it? And then we'll figure out how to write the code that makes it usable like this. And so, 1, we have an ad break in 30 seconds, so I will kind of go over what we did and stuff once people come back from ads. And then 2, the goals for today are to finish writing this test application, which is something that's supposed to just work once I finish it. Once I finish writing the, actual library, so I can just test it and make sure it works. And then to actually start writing the library. But first, we got ads. Sorry about the ads, but I don't want pre-rolls for people, so they have to be 3 minutes long. But I will see y'all when they're over. Until then, I'm gonna review this myself and figure out what the hell I did. Okay. This is the idea. So you import terminal, then you have the dot elements.
Honey, you should let me in. Shining lights and pretty scenes. Hear that song beneath your skin. Darling, you should let them go. Seed of gold and petty souls. I'll be here, just let me know. You look so good in indigo. Are you afraid of letting go? You come to find they'll say you're perfect as you are, but what's a little more? Just a little
Welcome back from ads, everyone. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. So, after looking at this a little bit more, I think I understand what I had in mind.
Don't you wait for them to sprout.
Was that it would be kind of structured into a couple of chunks. The first one is the actual terminal itself, which is the big thing that handles interaction with the terminal. So the terminal class will handle interacting with the actual terminal interface that people want to use. And that will then be what you attach elements to. So I think so you have terminal.add explanation, and you add the bar with label, you add the button. end.
There's so much more to you. They don't know you like I do. They don't try to keep you down. I know you could be so much more.
And then you have, yeah, so then you have the elements, which are the actual, like, things that hold content. So the text class will have some text. That's just static text, it'll stay there, but you can change it. It's still dynamic, so if I say text.update, or text.setContent, then it will get that. And it will change that on the actual terminal without me having to go and manually say, okay, rewrite that from scratch. Because that's something that the library will handle on the back end by itself. Loading bar has a loading bar. And this will have certain properties because it'll change in certain ways. For example, like if it'll be able to have take a dot progress or dot set progress or add progress or something. Was it?
Oh, Joe's eyes are hollow, and his breath a chilling mist. His frame torn asunder with iron shackles on his wrists. They say he wields a cutlass.
Do I have anything for when the button is actually pressed? Okay, so that's something we need to add. But basically, you can tell the bar, count bar, you can say progress by one thing or progress by 3 things. And depending on these styles and stuff you set, it will fill in to the best it can what it thinks you want it to do. And yeah, so it has a bunch of these like style settings, which is like, well, here's what you should look like and stuff. I don't know if I want to put style stuff in like a separate thing, because I have a style in colors, but these are for slightly different purpose. So I am not 100% sure about that. But I'll think about it. Because I'm not gonna get to that for a while, and even once I do, I'm just gonna leave it kind of not blank, but leave it mostly open to be like, here's generally what this should look like once it's fully implemented. Not fill in any of the details. So if I do want to change some of the details later, I haven't completely messed it up. So then you have the so you have progress text, which just makes an empty text. It does nothing yet. But you can justify the content to the center. And that's important because I haven't given it a width. So this text box will expand to the largest area it's allowed. And so instead of saying, okay, go all the way to the right, it will be in the middle. And then I embed that in the bar. So I want the bar to not just show me, in this case, I guess, how many times I've pressed the button. Yeah, not just visually how many times I've pressed the button, but also just have that as a number. So what we see next is that we have countbar.updater.progress, which is essentially a way to, in theory, the way that I want to make this. Again, remember, none of this exists yet. I think this was something that people were a little confused about last time I was working on this. None of this exists. It's all in my head. It's all fake. I may or may not be losing my mind. No, I haven't taken my meds. No. It's just... This is how I want it to work. All of this is dynamic. Like, if I decide that this is a dumb structure, I'll change it. But for now, I like this because it just works. And it would feel good to write it this way. Because it's precise, but not super lengthy. So, then, I can set the content for the text bar to be this thing. Which, although it's not just a string of text, is going to be displayed as just text, but I want it to be organized in a specific way. Which, in this case, is that it is a... it takes two vertical lines. This is something I should put down. I should document this somewhere. Otherwise I'm gonna forget, and then I'm gonna be mad at myself. How am I gonna write this? Using nested lists. Surprise. What was it? It's in the... So the outermost is in the left to right. This lets you set just the box to be whatever you want. You can be as specific as you want, or as unspecific as you want. All of it will work. So you could say, yeah, I just want these two things to be kind of next to each other. Or you could say, well, I want this thing to be, I don't know, my text to be next to one item. But then under both of those, I want to put another item, which is what we have here. I want this thing, which is how this will stay updated based on what the count bar is in the moment. Because when this progress text, set content, whatever, when it sees this kind of, this will be an object, a callback, an object, it will know to tell count bar, hey, when you update, I need you to let me know that you updated, because then I need to change something. And so then progress text will change something based on what the count bar says. So in count bar, I don't know if count bar moves and increments by 1, it will say, okay, well I did that. Now who do I need to let know? I need to let progress text know. Progress text, it will notify progress text. Progress text will update itself. And then count bar will update whoever else it needs to. Which in this case will be one more thing we'll see later. That's a, it's called publisher subscribe, I think, or an event listener structure. Because you have publisher who says, who will just output whatever event it has whenever it has it. The subscriber tells the publisher that the publisher needs to let the subscriber know when something happens. But the publisher will always output the event, even if it's not letting anybody know, which is a little different than some of the other schemas, the other structures that you can use. Anyways, long ass explanation short. This makes it so that everything updates together, because it would be bad if then every time that count bar had to update, I had to go manually update every single element that needed it, which is actually something that you do have to do right now for something like HTML. Obviously, HTML has a lot of benefits, so it's still fine. This, I want to make it as simple to use as possible, because you're running the UI in a fucking terminal. You're not... Style is not the goal. So the idea is that I try to make it as easy to use as possible to just make a tool, even if it isn't necessarily, the most high-end looking graphics available. It just needs to work. If it works, I'm happy. And, if it works and it doesn't feel like pain to use it, then I'll be happy. So, that is why it's structured this way, even if it's maybe a little bit too in-depth. It just makes it easier, a little bit easier if you don't have to worry about updating every single thing. You just tell it to update itself, and it'll figure it out. So, what we have here is that it will say whatever the current progress is out of 100. This is just a string. Nothing special there. But these two things need to be next to each other. Then, okay, actually let's go from the outside. So, the first list says that the element in this list needs to be next to each other, or are going to be placed next to each other. There's only one element in this list, and that is this inner list. So, fine. This inner list then says the elements in this list are going to be placed, vertically. And so the elements in this list are this thing and this thing. This thing we'll get back to in a sec. But this element is another list, and now we switch back to horizontally. So now the elements in this inner list, inner list, are going to be placed horizontally again. And that is the number, and, this, don't do that. And the string that is, the whatever out of 100. So, that's the idea for the structure, because again, it's just easy to specify a structure. It doesn't let you place elements exactly, but that's not the goal. The goal is just that you can tell the library, I want these things to be placed in this layout, and the library will figure out how to actually put them there, or whether it's even possible to put them there based on certain conditions. You might have to specify, oh, if the text is too long, just cut it off, it's fine. Or if the text is too long, cut it off and then scroll it. Something like that. But that comes way later. I am not thinking about any of that right now. So, then what is this? What does this mean? Basically, again, just for ease of use, it's a way for a user, or I guess a programmer, to say, okay, I want this text, press the button, to be teal. And I want that to be the foreground. So they can take the teal color from the just colors. I guess it'll be an enum. For those of you who don't know programming, again, I'm going to try to do this a little bit more, because I know that not everyone who watches actually, is a developer or understands programming, and sometimes I tend to speak on that level a little more. So I'm going to try to kind of explain things without assuming that you understand what all of these words mean. Because, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, if you told me, yeah, so this enum contains properties that will that point to these locations that can then be referenced by other objects, I would have thought you were insane. So I get it. An enum is basically, you have classes. Classes are the blueprints for objects. And objects are big data structures, and then they have like functions, which are things that use that object. So for example, in this case, the terminal. Terminal is a class. It's a blueprint for making an object. This terminal, which is capitalized, the first letter is capitalized, that's a convention for classes. Because then when I say this terminal, which is all lowercase, it's not confusing. And it doesn't conflict. I make a object using the terminal blueprint. The terminal blueprint says this is how this object is going to work. So when I'm, when I'm writing the code for this library, I'm writing the classes. The user will then make specific objects, what we call instancing, or instantiating. Yes, that's a word. Instantiating. Making objects, basically, of this class, which they can then use for all of the things that I specified in the class. Enums are a special kind of class that you don't make an object of. You don't instantiate them. They're just a way to say, all of this data is very related. For example, if I'm storing 30 colors, I don't want to say, this specific thing in this, this variable is this thing, and then the variable under it is the next color, because then I can't say, in this place, I want you to give me a color. Oh, welcome in, Christiana Warmer? I'm alright, how are you? Right, and so then by putting it in an enum, which is like just a special class, I can tell the like a programmer that, hey, I want a color here, and it's all grouped together, and it'll all work together. I'm just filming Christiana. Okay, Christiana, cool then. You also good? Nice, nice.
The name of the ship was the Billy O.T. The winds blew hard, her bow dipped down.
How long have I been streaming? About a year and a half. And so, style is not quite an enum, because it has methods, but it's a way to group a bunch of functions together that do similar things, that are related. So it's like similar in concept to an enum, but it's more focused on just grouping them together. So then I can say style.foreground. I want you to color this text, this color, teal. That's all this means. And so this just returns a string, but it's formatted in a specific way because there are certain characters you use in the terminal to tell the terminal, hey, I want you to format the next text in this color. Or like, hey, reset. What else have I played? Used to play about a bunch of Warframe, and then I also played Genshin for a while. Yeah. Again, other than that, I don't know. I don't think I've played many other games, like a lot. Other than that, we've just been playing this Plasma game recently. It's more of a sandbox thing. It's like an engineering sandbox. So, like I've been having fun with that, but not really. I haven't been playing that long. I think there's only been 2 streams with it so far. So I think like the big games that I used to play were Warframe and Genshin. Well, what's the model persona? It's very different? Yeah, I know. I like it. It's not really, no. I mean, I guess that is Shadow. But I have no idea. Like a friend drew it for me. So I kind of gave them like specifications of like I wanted it to be wearing like a mask and like glasses, and like headphones were cool. But then they ran with it, and I am actually really happy with it. You understand who made my model? A friend, like I said. Okay, so next, then we have this label group thing. A label group is basically a way to attach 2 elements together and say that this is the label and this is the group. Or this is the label and this is the thing that it's labeling. And that keeps them together, one, and then lets you treat the label and the item as just one object as a whole. Rather than saying, well, I need this label to be placed in this specific way with the object that's labeling. It keeps them together for you. And it actually makes the label, because it doesn't, so yeah, I can say, like, this label is progress. I'm going to label this thing progress. Label is this is a very similar syntax to the label that you use in HTML. In HTML, you do bracket, label. You have like for the item that you want to label, and then the value of the label. And so there's not really, I think, much there. I think there's a couple of other things you can do, but so this is a very similar syntax to that. And so this just gives you a group. If you want, I think you should probably be able to access like .label or .item or something, .label or .element, something like that. So why did I convert to a VTuber model? I mean, I guess I've always been a VTuber model. I never streamed IRL. Just privacy. No, I don't have a full body, like, I don't have a rigged VTuber model. Just a PNG tuber. The full body, like, rigged is the goal, eventually, at some point, but not anytime soon. Because I will tell you, that shit is expensive. If anything, I might actually just want to go straight to 3D. But we'll see. 3D is, it depends. It can be a little more expensive startup, but also you can do all kinds of really cool things with it. A lot of which I want to actually, do some of it off stream. Obviously, like setting up like scenes and everything. But I have like things I want to code on stream for that stuff because I don't think I streamed it. I don't think I streamed it, but I was I made like 3D model stuff that was really interesting. I fucked up the math so much. The library is cooked. It's so bad. But it like kind of works sometimes, a little bit. I should update it, maybe. I don't know. I don't really wanna. It's just a bad idea in general. But maybe we might look at something like that. Who knows? I have no idea how long this will take. I think this will take a lot longer. I think this will take more than enough time, though. Anyways, like I was saying, I am really fascinated by like 3D modeling, 3D scening stuff, and so that shit is really cool. And so we might code some of that stuff eventually once I get a 3D model. That's not happening. I'm probably going to stick with the PNG tuber model for a very long time. So it depends in your mind. If you want, you can get this made into a fully rigged model that can even become a 3D model. 3D isn't that expensive. You make them yourself. Yeah, no, I'm good. Just I'm not interested in that for now. I'm happy with the PNG. It's not animated at all, but I like it. I think it's character, and I have people in mind for models already. I'm already looking for it. One. This is advertising. That is in the rules. Please read the rules. They're there for a reason. It says you can advertise in DMs on Discord. That is the only place you can advertise. Because it's annoying as hell. So if you want to advertise, the Discord's there. You can DM me. But no advertising in chat. It's in the rules. I forget. I think it's like a warn and then a ban. Don't be that person. Don't be that guy. Anyways, where is my music? Oh, damn, did we get to the end of the playlist? Um, oh, wait, no, not that one. About that? There. So that's a 1 second timeout just to, it's like a purge messages. Yes, you can join the Discord server. It is there for a reason. Please don't advertise in the Discord server. The rules, if you read them, say you can advertise in DMs. I guess those are the rules in the Discord. But so no advertising in chat. Let me put that there. Okay, so this position left. Wait, what the fuck? Why would I do position left? Actually, wait, no, I'm confused. I confused myself. No, that's not. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, so position. This is the label. So the label, which is just a text element, again, like everything, but it's, the text element is made on its own. And so then the label group is, you specify, it defaults to left, but you specify where you want it to put the label. So you could put it like on top if you wanted. And then you can organize the content. Like if you wanted to organize the content yourself, you would just make a text element and then organize that content on your own in a just a normal group, which I didn't incorporate into here, but it's fine. I think that's like one of the the most basic things I want to implement, so it doesn't really matter. So and then justify center means that, again, because the label group isn't given a specific size that it's allowed to be, it will kind of just expand to be however big it can be based on the space available. Again, this is similar to how HTML works. And so I tell it that, no, I want you to, like you can do that. Kind of like how HTML works, the bounding boxes can go all the way out to the side, but I want the content to be justified in the center. So it will justify the content to the center. And then the content of the label itself is just progress. It's just a label for the progress bar, so it's fine. And then it gives you back this group object, which is bar with label, which now you can use, which is we add that to the terminal. So we have explanation. We add that to the terminal, and because of how this works, you add things like this. You can either specify a full layout, so you can say terminal.setContent, like this, set content, and then you can put in everything you want. But in this case, just adding this will put it top to bottom, justified, like this. So justified center. I actually don't know. What was my logic between content justify and justify? I think Yeah, no, you don't even control justify, so you have to be content justify. Yeah, so it's yeah. Yeah, because justify is controlled by the parent element that then grabs and kind of is allowed to work with each individual element. So there's no point in adding like a justify as in like this is where you put yourself. Because they can't put themselves anywhere. I should look out for those because I did write this kind of late. I mean, I guess like I am now, but hopefully I find contradictions and issues like that before I start writing the code. Okay, so next, button text. This is just, again, just text that goes on the button. We make it now because then we can make a button with the button text. And so for button, you can say, here's what the content of the button should be, or you can tell it what the content of the button should be when it's pressed or when it's not pressed. So this is when down, should be content when down, or I guess content like this, because then we can, so content when down and content when up, which is different. And so obviously like when you press the button, you see it. It's visual. You can have it change other things too, like style and stuff, which would just be using when down. Because content specifies what the button actually holds. Other stuff about like the style of the button and everything, that's all. Actually, now I think about this, I should probably just change that. Yeah, okay. And then the other one that I'm gonna look at is style.color is just a way to set the foreground and the background in one method. Again, just ease of use. It's not special, but the small things make the difference for how nice a library is to use. Because if a library is a pain to work with, then you're not really gonna want to use it. Even if it's not like not anything in particular that is really bad about the library. It's just it makes things harder than it needs to be. So we don't. You can just say style.color and set the foreground and background in one method. Very nice. Water's way too cold. Fucking hurts to drink. Yeah, and so for the button you have width, height. This just specifies how big the button will be. And then this is the important one. This is activate. There are a lot of things I want to do with interactivity and how do you make these terminal things useful. Well, you need like buttons and text entry and all of that cool shit. But how? That's going to be something for future Shadow to figure out. But for right now, this is at least one of the things, is that you can specify that this button is pressed when the space bar is pressed. And so there's a lot of things I want to put in this dot interactive. They're called submodules, I think. Yeah, submodules. Or yeah, submodules, I think is the best way to put it. Is it sub something else? There's no, there is a better way to put it. Say yes. Namespace? Package, sub package. it's a way to kind of, again, right. If it's a big library, I don't want to have to say, from terminal app, import all of these completely unrelated things, because then I have to put those all next to each other. That's dumb. So I can make sub packages. Which is like, well, this is the interactive element, so that it's organized. So that when I look in interactive, I can see, well, here are all of the things that I can use to make my app interactive. Welcome in, SZB. I don't know how to say that. Let me see if you want to tell me in chat. Please do. Welcome in. How's it going? Ooh. Just SCB? Hell yeah. Cool, cool. So I like that emote. It's cute. Alright, what was I saying? More coffee. One thing. So, yeah, so each of these submodules is a way to organize the stuff in the big package so that it doesn't feel super like disorganized and like you're just looking through, like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. If I'm looking for a specific way to style elements, I don't have to go look through the entire terminal app. I can just go look at the .style sub package. So that's the logic behind those. They're mostly just semantic. They're mostly just there so that the humans who are actually writing the code can make more sense of it. They're probably also useful for the code, but I never learned about them that way. Well, I say learned, I taught myself. So I never saw them being used as like actual things that make the code work better, if that makes sense. CB, you like it a lot too? that that's great. Yeah. I swear, the emotes on Twitch, like sometimes you just find like the golden emotes. Right, where were we? Yeah, button text. We got the button. Yeah, so then the activate, I can say, yeah, this thing is activated by space. There's no navigation, there's no thing. When space is pressed, the button gets pressed. So if I had another button that is also activated by space, well, that would be a problem because then both would get pressed at the same time because they only activated when space is pressed. Which may or may not be a good thing, but usually that's not what you want. Oh yeah, SCB, I don't think I asked. Yeah. What did I ask? How's it going? Sorry. Terminal code is looking super hot fire. Yeah. The thing is that like none of this is real yet, which is the big thing I want to fix soon. But this is just kind of designing how I want the library to work, like how I would want to be able to use the library. So the plan is that we finish this section today, and then also today we start actually organizing this into the sections and start working on stuff. You doing all right? Nice, nice. Okay, okay. Yeah. You did that too? Someone you didn't notice it's on in a comment? Yeah, no, that's fair. I know a lot of people actually don't use the triple quote comment for Python because it's not technically a comment. Because Python technically doesn't have multi-line comments. But like if I don't assign the triple quotes to anything, it's basically just a comment. It's unused. It's an unused string. It's good enough. But I know a lot of people prefer to use the just hashtag for every single line, which a bunch of these tools have made it easier to do. But like if you're on a comment, and I think that's like a specific shortcut, it'll move you onto another line with a hashtag comment. But I prefer it this way. It's a little simpler for my brain because I just write code like I would write it normally. You use them as temp comments, but you usually just select Control K and Control C, and it gets commented. What? Wait, no way. I didn't know PyCharm had that. Oh, yeah, I can't find it. Oh, VS Code. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Well, that's good to know. I use VS Code for basically everything that isn't Python. Like smaller stuff. I think like earlier today I was looking at like HTML, JavaScript server stuff, and then I was using then I use VS Code. But otherwise, I don't use VS Code too often. Or not to like actually code. For some reason, I thought it was the most genius idea to have all of my schoolwork be structured as like all of my kind of like work stuff I wanted to work on like a bunch of computers be a Git repo. So I just have VS Code for that. I don't think I've actually used it for that much code or recently. Use VS Code for everything except Java. Use Eclipse for that. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I definitely don't do Java enough to have an idea. Well, I think I do actually. Do I have um JetBrains toolbox? I know I have toolbox. Oh, yeah. Apparently I do have IntelliJ IDEA installed. I remember I used IntelliJ for a little. No, I didn't use IntelliJ. I remember I didn't use IntelliJ because it used to be paid. Yeah, you don't either. You haven't had Eclipse installed in years. Yeah, I think like the only time I used Java was for school, college, work, and stuff. Like I know Java is used for things, but I feel like there are. I don't make enough of the like app sphere kind of things. That's something I want to learn. Um, but even when I do, I think like everything I was seeing was like, yeah, no, just use .NET. Because like with .NET Portable or .NET Core or something, I think it's .NET Core. It's now portable across systems, so it's not just Windows specific, which is cool. And I know why they teach JavaScript or Java in like schools. I know why they teach Java in schools is that it's like it is the prime example of it's simple enough to use, but with enough structure, and it very much exposes you very well to the concept of object-oriented programming. But like it just feels like it's kind of okay at most things. Um, okay. Again, as a dumbass on the internet who has not used Java in a while, when I did use Java and I tried to make stuff with it, it just felt kind of like it wasn't really amazing at any thing in particular. And then I hated the like configuration stuff. I know like a bunch of other like languages like that also do configuration like that, but that was one of the big thing. Um, that's just because I don't. I think the last time I used C# was when I opened Unity and tried to make a game for a couple days and then said, fuck this. This this is not interesting anymore. And then I closed Unity and uninstalled it. But I know C# also, I think it was C#, I think just all of the big kind of like languages that actually compile have configuration hell. Um, SCB exposes you a bit too well to OOP, uh, if you ask me. Top one thing you hate about Java is having to form everything into a class. Yeah, yeah, no. I definitely, I definitely felt that when I was writing it, but I think at least at the time I was just because like the stuff that they give you in school is like here, right? Write a like min heap or some shit. It's like, yeah, okay, lovely. I can do that. That is very simple. Or it's like here, make a or I think like one of the ones that we did was like here, just make a stack. It's like, okay. But like that takes like 20 lines of code. I don't think there was nothing ever big about the projects in school. That was one of the big things that irritated me. That they're like, here's this big, massive project that you're gonna do, and it's gonna be hard. And then you can finish it in like 100 lines of code, and it's like, oh, okay, never mind. Took me in. I like the biggest project I got in school took me 3 hours. Yeah, just my issues with the way that we teach programming in school. Yeah, it is what it is. We do have an ad break in 30 seconds. So I'm going to start writing this, and then when people come back from ads, I will kind of explain what I've been writing. Don't worry, you're not gonna miss anything. And if I forget, just shout at me in chat. I'm pretty sure for me, you don't have to need that in the class anymore, but it feels like a band-aid on a bigger issue. Yeah, no, definitely. Finished. Okay, so we're done. No, I think this is fine. Just terminal.inter. That's how you spell interrupt, right? I'm not hallucinating. Yeah, that is. Okay. I guess if we do this. Content. Finish text equals text. Welcome back from ads, everyone. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. CB, yeah, coding and education is definitely quite buns right now. Yeah. I don't know, I think I guess one of the big things for me was that I, this was in college. I had professors who basically didn't know coding or didn't know programming besides like strictly the curriculum, and like even the curriculum itself was like kind of fuzzy sometimes, and that was not fun. Those were not the fun classes that actually enjoyed going to, because like I couldn't talk to the like I was that kind of kid who would talk to the teacher about shit in the subjects that I was interested in, that being like science and math uh exclusively, and then eventually computer science. And so just not being able to like talk to the teacher and about like like I know we talked about this way to do it in class, and that's obviously like the simple way to do it. But would it be slightly more efficient to do it this way? And being able to talk to the teacher about that was one of the big things that helped me, because even though like I did take computer science classes, I think I had already done everything in those classes on my own. And so that's how those classes actually were then helpful. It was not really for the content, but just for having someone there that I could talk to about computer science and then still learn even if the content wasn't new, like the course content wasn't new. But then like just the classes where the teacher themselves didn't really know programming either. I feel like that's just like I get it, like teachers are definitely there's definitely issues with the education sector as a whole right now. And I'm not gonna get too much into it, but I get it that sometimes you have to compromise. It's just unfortunate because I think that that can sometimes be a big benefit of the education system is being able to talk with people who know that field pretty well and who can, you know, answer questions that even if they're like slightly outside of the curriculum, because then it helps you get a better understanding of the subject area as a whole, which is really beneficial for subject areas where maybe there isn't a lot of that anyways. Like outside of like even outside of school, there isn't a lot of well, here's how computer science works as just an entire field. There's a lot of well, here's how you make this specific thing in this language using these libraries, which is cool. But forming a kind of foundational understanding is, at least in my opinion, again, dumbass on the internet. But in my opinion, I think that is one of the most important things about getting into a field is understanding just on a conceptual level, understanding it as a whole. And so when you lose that because or when you lose out on some opportunities to do that because the teachers aren't really that experienced in the fields, that can be frustrating and it can be an issue. But yeah, who who am I to say? I think it still worked. Like the class wasn't bad, but mm, anyways, we're at finished. Let's write some code. Okay, so finish text. Yay. Um, um, fuck. I hate this. Style dot color green. Do we have green? Colors dot. Hey, no, I want color. Press the button 100 times. Ooh, also, let me pull this up. I forgot. SCB. Yeah, you're definitely saying stuff I agree with. I hope so. Think that sometimes we get caught up in other issues that just talking about Like when like we were talking about like AI and computer science and stuff, and like that's fine, I guess. But there are other issues around that that I definitely feel sometimes get missed out a little bit. Let me put this in like that. Wait, we say horizontally, so vertically. Horizontal is first, because then we can put this. Oh yeah, thank you for the follow, SCB. Appreciate it. I hope you like it here. Let's dot green, I guess. What do we have? Green. We have green somewhere. Is that it? We have teal goes on top of it. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I think this should just be like light green. SCB, yeah, always looking at the software dev category for people working on cool stuff. No, I do that. I do that too. It's nice to find people who streaming the stuff. Streaming the stuff. Words. I know them. Finished, and then wait, yeah, and then we don't edit to it. So if we say terminal dot add finish text button dot disable. I guess we don't need to disable the but terminal dot remove, wait, terminal dot remove button. Was green, and what we then we'll see a lot of people working on games, which isn't exactly bad. It's just not your cup of tea. Every once in a while you find a gem. Yeah, I appreciate that. I do like. I'm always impressed with people who can do game dev, but you know, it is. Well, I tried. Did I say this? I think I mentioned it already. I tried game dev twice. It's just motivation. Sometimes it takes a while to get like stuff up and running, and then the motivation kind of dies out there. And then, oh, I think the biggest part for me was just like, for games to look good, you need like assets and stuff, and without that, it can kind of feel a little demoralizing. Even if like the game's concept is great, just because you need the assets. Obviously, I know a lot of games that, you know, maybe don't have the top-notch graphics, but are still very well regarded. That was the thing for me. I think justify content. I think justify content center. Right, I did this right. Yes. Yay! I remembered. I'm just gonna copy that because oh, content justify. Indeed. No, surely my right rectangle defeating the red circles looks good enough. You know, the people on YouTube keep telling me that it looks good enough. I don't know. I think like one of the games that I had, this wasn't like a game that I was actually planning on finishing, but I did want to like start it and get into it and kind of start to understand, again, like start to understand the process of how you make these things. But it's not null caps. And and it was just like a rectangle kind of bumping a circle, and it was great. Or it was like two rectangles. I think it was like local like co-op stuff, like two people playing on the same keyboard. It was like two rectangles bumping a circle. I'm like, oh, I mean, it's fine. I guess. But yeah, no, I was never able to actually look at that and be like, yeah, I've made progress. It just never felt like it was gonna be anything. But I think like I do think that's not always like a great, not strategy. Strategy is not the word. Um it's not a great like outlook to have. Just because then you aren't gonna get started on projects like that just because oh it doesn't look great now. You have to start somewhere. I could just never. But I see people like making like games and stuff, and they look so good, even though like I understand fundamentally that it's just shapes. I don't know. But just like when other people are doing it and they're like actually have something that's like full and functional, and like you see them like making it, for me that's like, oh damn, that's like a full thing. Okay, wait, no, stop, come back. Nope, it's not that. It's a test counter. Okay, let me explain what I did. New element. It's another text one. It's a styled, foreground styled. So that's the foreground is the text, the actual like text itself. Background is like it'll be like a highlight behind the text. If I didn't explain that already, there's that. So it's foreground styled. It's colored green, and it's just as congratulations. You press the button 100 times. Don't move that. And it's justified to the center. Very standard, same as everything else. And then we finish this. Again, simple. I think I wanted to do some other crazy stuff, but I didn't take notes on it, so I don't remember. It removes the button. And then it adds the finished text. And then it ends the app. Terminal.end is how you kind of finish everything, whatever you clean everything up that you need to clean up. And it's all done now. Oh yeah, one other things that I wanted to. Press the button. Because it's just terminal stuff, it's just gonna be the terminal. The library is kind of designed to make terminal UI apps easier to make and less of a pain in the ass. Those are cool. But having to rewrite every character when you change one string a little bit is not quite the smoothness and ease of use that makes it always make sense. There are a bunch of other libraries that do something similar, but I wanted to do it kind of this way. It's a little more HTML style. What was I saying? Yes, this. Hundred. Wow, like this, like that. And then did we have something? No. That was just it. Perfect. Mouse clicks? The plan is not to. I know some of them do, and I'm actually, well, I mean, we might. It all depends on basically what I can figure out. I might look into that. Actually, let me see. Terminal UI Python. Terminal app library. IS Python in terminal register. What? The idea is that for keyboard we use the keyboard module, which I think, yeah. So it is pip. What actually? What are your dependencies? Oh, why? Why are you this color? API docs below. I think the keyboard module is the easiest way to do it, because it'll actually. So I'm curious, if I go to this terminal and I say, yes, you don't capture these kind of inputs. Okay, so you don't capture arrow keys. Because the thing is that, like, I could use WASD, but I think that's dumb for a terminal, like, app. And I want to give, like, the user Or the, I guess... user, the ability to use whatever keys they want. But I think that requires registering full events from the keyboard. Where the hell do I find... Actually, who cares? Might as well. If install keyboard. Okay. I mean, like, what do I have currently? Live. Yeah, Colorum, I need keyboard. That's actually not too bad. There's probably a couple other ones that are going to come around, but nothing... Shouldn't be anything too big. Like with numpad 7, for example, it will only pick up 7 or home. Oh, interesting. So then I may not, because keyboard is always the module that I go to, but that's just because it's the only one that I know. Well, I guess there's PyAuto GUI, but that's a little overkill. Oh, Pinput. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's the one that's right next. That's the next one that I saw for mouse. I mean, I guess I will have to look into mouse, or into Pinput then. Monitoring the mouse. Injected. Faked if injected, else not faked. If one click. Listener.join. Or in a non-blocking faction. Mouse listener.start. Huh. Interesting. Well, this is definitely something I need to explore when I get to that. Where's this? Handling the keyboard. Monitoring the keyboard. Okay, so on press key. Try print alphanumeric character 0 pressed format key dot char. Oh. Format key. Oh. 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 I guess. Okay, interesting. I think I've definitely seen Pinput before, but I don't think I've ever looked at it that much. Definitely something to think about later. Yeah. Didn't mean to deviate my flow. The flow is a very strong word for what happens. I'm already dealing with like a good chunk of the 80 of the HDs. Hi, Aura. Thank you for the posture check. Quit you shrimping? Oh. Hey, what is this about the short? Nothing. Nothing. Don't worry about that one. Why did the butt call you short? See, sometimes the truth hurts. Omni, it just understands. Why did I program it to lie? What do you mean lie? It's only the truth. Only the truth. So how's it going? Thank you for popping in. Wait. Fuck, I don't know how early it is for you. Or I guess late. I have no idea. Time zones are hard. Come say that to your face. You know, I would have to go back to shrimping. I would have to like look down again. We how do we set this? We have I guess we have terminal. You swear to God? Hmm. Terminal.py. That doesn't conflict with other things, right? I hope not. So this would be nope. Stuff. I mean, really though, like if you want, I can't take it out, but I thought it was funny. Stuff. What do we put here? I guess it's just the terminal class. I love that emote. That emote's great. Wait, no, I missed one. It's 5 a.m. We slept weird, so you're up. Ooh. Yeah, sorry to hear that. I assume that means you don't have time to try to go back to sleep. You're in a cage of emotions. Is it like a half cage? It's like 3 feet, like 3.5 feet, maybe like 4 feet. If we're being generous. I think we do terminal class. Just terminal class. Is there anything else I want to put here? Because this should just be all of the terminal stuff. All of the terminal stuff should just be in the terminal class. And we'll revisit that later. That's fine. Directory. Elements. Right? That one. Elements. There's nothing in there. It's just a empty. Yes. Yes. Engagement motions. Excuse me. This would be terminal class. Is it contagious? I don't know. So we're hoping to keep it in one file. One file only. Right? Oh shit, because there's too many init methods. I'll figure out the init later. Elements. Yes. Do basic.py. Um, right. I guess it'll be simple and then group. No, this should be ABC. It should be no. Rename abc.py. That's stupid. I don't want to get that mixed up. Base. Yeah. I should turn that volume off. Because the sound is in my ears, but I can't get it to play on stream without it blowing up the audio. Thank you for the jump scare. I really should have put that. It's kind of useless. Can't hear it. Honk, get fucked. Bye. You're leaving before you bullied more. Okay, bye. Thank you for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Everyone go check out Aura. She streams Stardew Valley a lot. She's doing Crazy Nuts Challenge. Go follow her. She's great. Very funny. And has self-reported as not short. But go to her stream and you can find out. Basics. There's two types. It's elements and groups. I guess base element, and then you have abstract. Wait. Abstract. Oh. Because I could call this abc.py. I could. And I think it would technically work. I don't know if that's a smart move, though. Actually, I need to know, how do other libraries handle it? I don't know, let's look at some other... Fuck, I don't think of... hold on. Hey, this is on GitHub somewhere. Yeah. Oh. Oh. What is this then? I'm sorry, you can't see what I'm doing because I can't. Actually, I can capture it if I move it to the other one. Give me a sec. Put this over here. And then let me grab Windows Capture. Let me show you the thing. Firefox. There you go. And what? Okay, because the thing that I am looking at is I'm trying to figure out. Actually, I should not be going down this rabbit hole. Never mind. We're gonna stop that. NumPy GitHub. Is it even on GitHub? Probably. Yeah, it is. Where's NumPy? There it is. Core. Core is probably what I'm looking for. If I just search, I can search, right? What the fuck? Uh, ABC dot. Fuck you. But I think what they do is they just name this abstract then. So fine, abstract. Oops. Let me back to PyCharm. Oops. And then in abstract, so wait, what are we putting in here? Stuff. Oh, ABC's default, right? So ABC, ABC, good. Import ABC, I think, is fine. I think that's what I usually do anyways. Abstract, element, ABC class. Element ABC. And then what do we... I think like just a group ABC class. Because then groups have specific methods that they should all implement on top of. So groups are elements, but they have specific other elements or specific other things that I want them to implement. Yeah, so basically none of this. But some of it at least. Okay. I think because like some of this is stuff that I want to be base to every class. Like every class should implement some H squeeze, V squeeze method, or I guess, yeah, H squeeze, V squeeze into how much they're allowed to fit. And should have default methods, but then if you want but each class can then have their own specific methods that they use. Like for example, if you have a like a text, like maybe text implements these, which is where like most of these are from. But like for example, none of this would make sense for like a progress bar. Like a progress bar would not have any of these. So it has its own, I guess what I've called methods, but like rules for cutting, for squeezing stuff. And then they should all error if they're or return false if they can't get down to size. Oh, yes. And I think I probably want to split this. Oh yeah. And then thread safety is something that I probably am not going to implement now, just because it doesn't really make sense to do it now. So the idea is that then that thread safety can come later and either be like a separate class or just be added to the main classes later. But right now the idea is that the terminal runs just the way it does. And other code runs in the kind of background. So I think this actually, how do I want to do this thing? I guess because right now the way that I have it structured is that you have to put all of the code into the app itself, which it's not always conducive, but it's potentially something. Like if we need to implement it like this, then I mean, I guess it wouldn't be that bad. So, well, we'll think about that a little bit more. Then we have Python file group .5, and these will have that back there stuff. So right now we have a group class planned. One of the ones that we did use was a label group, and then I'll probably think of more later. Yeah. So I think that's all we'll put in groups. And then Wait, why would you... Okay, so keep in mind, I have not written any actual libraries in the sense that when I have written code in the past, and like any code that I actually have published anywhere, it's all just kind of a bunch of files that kind of hang out together. So I'm like, so on this like second monitor that I have, I'm looking at like the directory structure for a professional project of like, here's what your directories should look like, and here's what your project should be, or here's how your project should be structured. And some of it's kind of confusing. Like, well, why, like, unless you have like 70 things in like your core sub package, your core sub package is the package, so why would I not like put this here? But like the thing that they're talking about is like, well, no, you should put everything in folders. And it's like, well, wait, why? Why though? Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find a different guide that's maybe a little better. File structure can always change later as long as you haven't made a release 1.0. You know, that is fair. Fuck it, I guess. No, elements dot elements. Yeah, elements. What stuff do we have in here? So for elements, wait, no. Base elements. Because there's a couple. There's, I guess not really like this. It'll be like, you know, simple. Simple. Or simple. The most important part is to get the thing working, then you can figure out how to get it working well. Okay. Yeah. No, that's fair. Although the more experience you have, the more you'll know how to make it work well up front. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, no, yeah, that's fair. What did we want? We wanted text. Text. Simple. The text class. Wait, do I not use anything else? And these will be things like, I mean, I guess the thing that I want to have here would be something like a counter. Something. Stuff. This will have a loading bar. Oops, sorry about that. Abstract then has Yeah, that's there. Simple. Drafting text. Counter. Nothing else. I have stuff in here that I don't want to just get rid of. But also it's not it's not great. So I'm gonna grab this loading bar item class and say, okay, so either I keep it, or not keep it, but like I look at it and try to copy it over to a thing that looks better, or I just get rid of it. I think I'll look at most of these and then copy those over. Just because I do think I had some pretty decent ideas. 1, 2, 3, 4. With we're looking at start char and char, empty char, full char, prefix, suffix, done. Wait, no, done. Max progress. Okay, that's good enough. Where were we? Start char. End char. Empty character. No. No. Stop it. Character. Full character. Prefix. Suffix. Done. Max progress. There's a couple other things that I want to add. That being, actually, no. No, here's how I want to break it down. Is that these classes, so loading bar, so name standard.py. Why does it have that in there? This is not complex.py. This is advanced.py. As advanced because this has raw loading bar class. So this one has loading bar, and this one has format. Yeah. Wait, loading bar class, but this one is a lot more simple. So this gives you, so raw loading bar gives you access to everything, whereas the normal loading bar class gives you access to a couple of small kind of higher level features that do basically anything you would ever need it to. But the raw loading bar class has everything. That's where I'll fit all of this in, and then I think I can figure all of this out on my own. Oh yeah, there were a couple other things. There's min progress. So this is format. Yeah, I was trying to combine all of it together, and it was dumb. Yeah, I do like using the like I liked using the like with.setter and stuff methods because they look cool, they sound cool, but they just make everything more complicated. Like, just make it a method. Just have a method that says set with, and then you can read with from like just a variable if you want. Oh shit, I forgot to talk about that. Yeah, I don't know. Ads, I will continue talking about like the stuff that I'm doing or planning, looking at when people come back from ads. So that hopefully nobody misses anything. So it's abstract, then there's groups. Actually, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Place. One step base. Okay, cool. Standard. What else do we have? We had interactive. Yes. Advanced. Says button. Otherwise, button. Text box. Sorry about that. Welcome back from ads, everyone. Hopefully the ads weren't too bad. So basically, what we did while you were in ads was I added the interactive kind of subgroup. So you have base elements, interactive elements, which is like a button and a text box so far. There'll be a couple other things. I'll probably have like, I don't know, like a checkbox is somewhere under button. Checkbox. And then there's groups. Standard. I guess there isn't really like base standard. I'll figure out exactly which one of these. Actually, no, never mind. Instead of being like this, it should be a Python file base.py. And this should contain that. Wait, like this. Interactive. Interactive.py. Base, abstract, base, oops, interactive. Oh shit. Base. Okay, sorry. This was stuff with a text class loading bar class. And then each of these can expand into like a directory if they need to. But like this way everything kind of starts as just one file, and then as it needs to, it can expand. So elements, I think that's all we want. Because we have base elements, groups, and then interactive elements. And then you have the abstract ones. Okay, so then style. Directory style, which is just a yeah, these are just that base, and this is the stuff that it has. Stuff style class colors static called it's like a class that you use to just kind of hold a bunch of functions together. It's not actually used as an object, so I don't know what those are called. Just call it a static class. Fonts enum, maybe. I can think of like like there's actually enough ways to do fonts in just raw UTF-8. I think most terminals interpret 8. Interactivity. Interactivity is fine. It goes up high. Base. So this will be the stuff. This would be like the keys. If we can figure out how mouse clicks work. Just kind of like basic interactivity stuff. This triggers class. Stuff. This will include what a class. What else do we have? We have a actually don't know. I think that's probably it. That's at least it for now. Okay, so sorry, I haven't been explaining much. The idea behind keys, the keys enum, right? Enum we discussed is just kind of, it's just a thing that holds a lot of related information in the same place. It's structured like a class, but it's not actually a class in the way that you can't make an object out of an enum. It just holds a bunch of things together. So the keys enum just holds all of the different keys together with a value of, well, what key that is. That can then be communicated and used to make sure that used to actually like work with keys, rather than saying, well, if you want to talk about the W key, use you know, the text W, and if you want to talk about the shift key, use the text shift. You just say keys dot W or keys dot shift. Right, like that. The triggers class, this is just going to be a way to turn on or to activate interactive elements based on an event. Actually, so the way that I probably want to do this is that key pressed. So you can get different kinds of triggers. This is a both static, well, and the custom trigger class. This is a static class, and then the custom trigger class. Just lets you specify a right now event trigger. Event trigger. Actually, this should be its own separate thing. Not fine. Yes, this should have just been triggers. You can do triggers. Yeah, activate this key trigger, key step space. I'm just anything in there that I could write again. I think. Is there anything in here that I actually do really want to keep? Like this thing, even that thing is not super well done, so I think I'll just do everything again. Actually, uh, New directory, archive. So if I grab I don't think this is how you're supposed to do this, but it works, so it's fine. Absolutely right. Elements. The last one is communication. New directory. And this is basically just the abstract stuff. Fine. Elements have an abstract. Communication has an abstract. There's stuff in there. Add stuff here. So this should be stuff. What stuff do we want to add here? This should be updater ABC class or ABC. Listener ABC class. Say terms. Stuff. Data class. But what? Stuff. So there we go. Listener class. Okay. So basically, we made this abstract file. This will hold all of the abstract classes. For those of you who don't know programming, abstract classes, in this case, they're called ABCs or abstract base classes because Python doesn't quite have the same stuff that other languages do. But basically, it tells other classes what features they have to build in. So for example, if I want to make an updater, then I say, okay, well, this updater takes from updater ABC. And what that means is that unless I implement or I add all of the features that updater ABC says that an updater needs to, my class won't work. And so it forces you to implement everything, and it provides also some other like base methods and stuff, kind of like logic that doesn't change no matter what kind of updater you are. That kind of stuff gets provided here. But it forces you to build certain things. The question is this actually necessary? The answer is no. Because the updater class should anyways already have this. Yep, so like the listener class will already have all of that logic. And even if it doesn't force you to implement it, it still has that stuff there already. So it's fine. See, it's a little different with elements because we're going to have multiple different elements, different types of elements that all inherit from the abstract class. Okay. Um, do we need a control ABC? Not really. I don't think so. So, I mean, maybe. But I think having just these two is fine, at least for now. I think, well, do we need Oh, we already have a trigger ABC. Okay, never mind. Stuff. Okay. So we have controller.py and controller app.py. So I think that what the fuck did I just say? I don't know. I lost track of my words. I'm an idiot, my bad. Um, more coffee. Oh shit, the coffee's almost out. That might mean that this has to be a shorter stream today, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Obviously, I don't want to be, just on stream even when I'm tired to the point of passing out, because that's definitely not entertaining. And look, I know like coding stuff is not always the most entertaining, but I try to make it at least a little bit. Hopefully, me passing out on stream isn't equally entertaining. Class element ABC. Uh, okay, so I need to look at this and then drafting.text. Hmm. We should actually probably start here then. This is kind of like the base of everything. Terminal. do 5V vertical. I think that was what I was trying to do here, so let me look at it. Let me see if I can. Nope. Yeah, this is better because then at least feels like it stays together. Let's see. Okay, so we can then I guess kind of leave. Well, the question is, what if it isn't a terminal, or even like a terminal that these terminal things can work with? Hmm. I am confused. How do I? No, that is an interesting thing. Basically, what I'm thinking of is that, like, I don't want the library to just throw an error if they're not using a terminal. But if they're not using a terminal, we can't access a lot of the features that we need to. Okay. Thank you for the hydrate. SCB. Okay, so hmm, okay, well, I am curious. Again, you can't see this, but I'm going to check. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so it does update. Python start interactive Python. Import shootil. Shootil.get terminal size. Now do that same thing again. Okay, so you do update within a process. The issue is that there's no like alert for if the terminal is resized. Okay. Sorry, you couldn't see that. I think I mentioned. I opened up the actual like terminal stuff and was looking at whether shutil, which is this which is kind of the other method. So there's OS get terminal size and then there's shutil get terminal size. They do the same thing fundamentally. But OS get terminal queries the OS itself. shutil is a wrapper around this so that it doesn't, give an error if the OS can't recognize the terminal it's running in. Like if it's running in an environment that isn't the terminal, then normally the OS would freak out and be like, oh, error. Shutil basically gets around that by saying, okay, well, if this isn't an actual terminal, here's some pretend values. It's good enough. Okay. I think, though, that's... We're probably going to have to look at some of that stuff next time. Because I am basically passing out my chair. It sucks, but, yeah, I definitely didn't get... I mean, like, I didn't get a bad amount of sleep tonight, but I definitely didn't get a great amount of sleep. That's my bad. Sorry about that, chat. So, with that being said, we will look at all of this again tomorrow, probably. Actually, I don't know. Maybe not tomorrow. Then 2 days from now. So that is Thursday, June 25th. 11 p.m., probably starting somewhere closer to midnight. Or even after midnight. I think we're probably starting after midnight most days. That specific time. There'll be an announcement in the Discord about the specific like time that we're gonna go live. I'll put that in the Discord. I also have stuff. I also have a Twitter now. because why not, I guess. So here's all the socials. They do things. The Discord is the server you can check out if you want. There's VODs on YouTube, which like this VOD should be up either like, well, it should be up by the end of today, roughly. And then yeah, there's Twitter. I think I posted a live alert kind of right before, or 30 minutes, I think, before I started streaming. So I'll continue to do that. Hopefully it's helpful. I know that like Discord isn't great for everyone. A lot of people use Twitter. I've never used Twitter before, but it's also just, doing the things, getting out to people, I think. I have no idea. I'm not gonna be posting that much, so if like you don't expect like me interacting with anybody else, because that's socializing with people. That's hard. That that's that's not happening. Anyways, that's a little bit of rambling. You can tell my brain is shutting off and trying, or I'm trying very hard to keep it alive still. Anything else? Yes, there's a couple other things. Yeah, I planned for this. Yeah, look at me. I'm a professional streamer. I do the streams. Yeah. YouTube, Discord, yeah. Talk about my stream. Yeah. I appreciate you all watching. Um remember to take care of yourselves. Dying is bad for your health. And I guess because we're ending early, I might as well go find somebody else to raid. It's been a minute since we raided Tarak. Oh, I guess it's been like forever. But let me see if we can find some other people who are doing software dev stuff. Uh yeah, might as well, I guess. Okay. We got a raid someone. I don't know, just to wait. Oh, let me see. Sure. We're gonna start a raid. This is someone I found. We will see how it goes. No ads. Shut up. We're gonna raid someone. There's the raid message. Top one is if you aren't subbed. Bottom one is if you are. Yeah. Again, appreciate all of you. Dying is bad for your health. Remember, y'all are amazing. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.